This is beautiful. You can see, so we have the image background and we have our images displaying, and then we gave it the padding of 10, and you can see we divided the width into 2, so it can display 2 cards. So you can see it, and this is beautiful, isn't it? So let me select MERN, shop MERN, and it will change that. This is cool. This is beautiful, isn't it? This is beautiful, and you can see it displaying. So let me go for fonts. If we go to fonts, it will change and display fonts. This is beautiful. This is beautiful, and it's displaying every information regarding fonts. Let's go to computers. Cool. Let's go back to shop women, and the next thing we really need to do now is to perform the navigation function, so that when you click, you want to get the product information. So we want to navigate to our product details. So before we do that, we now need to go to our root navigator and create the params for the product details. That's why we could not navigate. That's why it's showing an error, because the parameters are not set. Product details is undefined, and we are passing a parameter of item, so it's not set. That's why it's throwing an error. So quickly we'll go into, let's go to our product details. This is our product details. Let's bring it up. Let's go to our, let's bring product details here, and then let's go to our root navigator. We have our root navigator here. So inside our root navigator, we have what we call, so inside our root stack param, so we have the product details. So this is the reason why it's not showing, because it's undefined. So, and we cannot pass item into undefined. You can see the sense in TypeScript. So it's making sure that we have type safety. So in our product details now, we'll come to the product details here, and we want to populate it. Since we want to pass an item into it, we're passing the item. If you like, you can pass everything directly, but I would prefer to pass it an item so that we will not populate the home screen with too many information. We can just pass the item. So as a result of that, I'm going to say this is equal to item, and then inside this I'll pass. So I'll just copy, let me copy, where's our product types. Yeah, so let's copy this item and pass it into our root navigator here. So we'll pass it to our root navigator. So, and we add other informations that we'll require. So we have ID, we need the name, we need the price, old price, we need images. We also need to get the quantity, and the quantity here will be, so we also need to get, we need to get the length, we need to get the category it belongs to. So we get the category, we need a category, and it's of string. We need description, we need the product description. So let's add it after image. After images, we should have the product description, and description is string as well. After description, we'll need the price and the old price. We want to know if it's in stock. After quantity, after category, let's just put it here, in stock, and that can be optional. And in stock is boolean. So in here we're supposed to pass a comma. Yeah, so we're supposed to pass a comma here, and then in here it's throwing an error. So let's go, our item is of product params. So let's go to our product params. It's supposed to be inside our, so we'll go to our home props, and then where's our product? Yeah, I think the error we're having is actually because of this. So we need to match some of them up. They have to be the same. So let's go to our, let's bring our home props here. So name, quantity. So category can be undefined. So price is okay. We made price undefined here. That's where the problem is coming from. And now home props price. So where's the problem still coming from? Okay, let me reduce this so we can read the error and correct it. So we're saying, it's a description. So where's the description here? Description here. Oh, description can be undefined. Cool. So that's it. Now sometimes you just need to read the error you're getting back, the error feedback. So the description can be undefined. So you can see everything is fine now. So we can bring this back. So you can see everything. So everything is fine. We'll save our and bring this closer to home props, to our home screen. So you can see there's no more error. So everything is okay. So we're good to go. So let's comment out the console for middlewares. So this is cool, right? So let's say from our home screen now, where's our home screen? Let's do some. So from our home screen, if I come to the background image, let's choose another background image. Let's say if I choose 0, it will change the background image. Do you see what's happening? This is beautiful, isn't it? So that's just the idea. That's what's going on. So see the background image has changed. If I use 2, it will change the background image. So that's what we'll be using. Cool. You can see based on the background images we have, see what's happening. So I think let's just use 0. Let's use the background image for that. And if we toggle here, cool. This is beautiful. So we'll leave this like this. And the next thing we want to do, so if I press on this, let's press on this, it will navigate to our product details screen. You can see. So, but we've not done everything about product details screen. So we'll get back to that and perfect it. So we'll come here outside this place. So we'll render another text. So let's just copy the header here. I'll just copy this header and make use of it. So I'm going to call this, let's call this flash sales. Flash sales. Let's give it background color. Let's give it background color of D5, E6, F7, D5, E6, F7, and then we have padding of 10, font size. Let's make the font size okay. Let's leave 20. Then give it text align, center. So let's bring it down. So we have text align, and let's give it a margin top. Margin top. Let's make it margin top of 15. So we can bring these two down. Margin top of 15, and we're good to go. So we'll call it flash sales. Let's see what that brings up. Cool. This is beautiful, isn't it? So we have flash sales. And inside that, we're going to render a view. So we're going to render a view. Okay, let's just copy the view we rendered earlier. I think it's the same. Where is it? Here. Yep. So we're just going to copy this quickly and bring it here. Paste it here. And inside the view, we want to create what we call trending products. Or let's say flash. Okay, let's just say trending product. Let's call it trending product, and then we are going to use. Let's come up here and create trending product. So we're going to say trending product, set trending product, and we're going to use this. This remains the same. So let's go to our middleware. From our middleware, let's set trending products. So come here, let's create the interface for it. Let's use this. So we say interface trending product. So we'll say interface trending product. Okay, let's say trending props, trending product props anyhow. So we're going to set, let's say set trending product, trending product. So set trending product, and we're going to use product params. So we're using product params, and that's all we need to do here. So we'll come down, let's copy this. Let's copy. Okay, we can make use of the, but they're different. So let me use this. So we'll copy this and we'll come here and post it. So we're going to call this fetch trending products. So we're going to say fetch trending products is going to be equal to trending props set trending product. And then here we're going to get so we can use the fetch. We can use the fetch product that we used earlier. So we're going to say fetch product, yeah. And we set trending. So inside the fetch product, we have what called. So we're going to use the product, yes. So we use the product, and then it will be the product, and then we'll create trending product. So let's call it trending product. So that's it. So that's all we need to do here. So we'll go to the back end now and create trending product. So let me move this a little this place. So we need to open our product controller. Inside our product controller, put it here. We're done with image controller. So image route, everything is working, so we're done with them. So we'll come to this place. So inside let's use this and just edit it accordingly. So we'll come here and say fetch, let's call it get trending product trending product. So it's going to be product. We're going to search from product. So we're going to call the result. We shouldn't make that mistake again. So result will be product. What did we call it in the front end? From the front end, product. Yes, is it small letter? Yes, a small letter product. So small letter, and then we're going to call it product. We're going to call it product, and then we're going to say, let's just add dynamism to it. So it's a tutorial, so you can define it any way you want. You can define the parameters for your product or for your trending product. So you can have a trending product added to your model when you're creating your product model. But for the sake of time and because it's a tutorial, so I'm going to be using featured and just walk around featured product. So it's just the same query you get. Do you understand? So I'm going to say, so for the trending product, I'm going to fetch all the product where they are featured is true. So that is the criteria. So where it's true, where the feature is true, and I'm going to limit it to let's say 8. I'll limit it to 8, and then I'm going to sort it by limit to 8.sort. I'm going to sort it by created at. So I'm going to get the latest one that we just created. So it will get the latest one, the ones with the latest date. That's what the -1 is talking about. So I'm going to save this, and that's all we need to do here right now. So if we're able to get it, we're going to console the log the product, and we want to see product found here, and product not found over there. So that's basically all we need to do here. So I'll come to my route. So we don't need to do anything inside here, because we don't need to do anything inside the index for the controller. So I'll just go to the route directly. So from the route, it's a get function, and I'm getting trending product. So to get that, I'm going to copy this, paste it here, and we're not using params. We're just getting trending product. So let me copy it from the front so that I won't make that mistake again. So we're doing trending product. I'll copy trending product and bring it to the back end. Cool. So we're getting trending product, and we're getting it from get trending product. Get trending product, and that's it. So we can save it. Everything is fine here, and we don't need to do anything in our Express. So that's the power of that index that we use, is write one and for all. So it will target the product and trending product. That's what we're doing. So we'll come back to the front end. So at the front end, we'll go to the front end. So in the front end, we'll come here and say product found. We'll save this. Then we'll need to call it from our use effect in our home screen. We'll come to the home screen here. So inside the home screen, we will use the use effect. So where is it? Copy this, bring it here. Now say trending product. Okay, fetch trending product. There's it, fetch trending product. I'll set it to trending product. Cool. So I'll send it to trending product. And we also want to create the use focus effect, so it can also update when we make changes to the back end. It can always look into that and update for us. So let's copy this 2 in here. And we don't want to pass. So that's all. And then we are good. If everything works fine, we should have that. So if we go now to our flash sales, you can see it's already bringing trending products out. You see, we already have them in our terminal. It's already bringing it. You can see them, the trending products. So let me just go to the terminal. Let me move this so that you can see that we have trending product. You can see product found. You can see it's bringing them up. So we need to use our product card to display it in the front end from our home screen rather. So quickly go to so we'll just come here. Let's copy this selected category. We make use of it in here. So let's paste it here, and we're going to call this trending product. So we're going to call it trending product. We're going to map on have name. We have name. We have images. We have the keys. We'll have the product, the style props. So for the style props for this, we're going to make some changes to it. Resize mode, we'll leave it with the width. So let's create another width for this. So we'll come up here and create the screen. We'll create a width for this for our trending product. Where did we? Yes. So we'll come here. Let's just copy this, and then we're going to call this trending product width. trending product with, and it's going to be from dimension get screen, and we want to make this, want to display 4 and then give it padding of 10. So we'll display 4, give it padding of 10, and then we can come down here and use trending product width. Where's it? So we're going to use trending product width, and then text align of left. So for the props, let's use image 1, and then for the navigation still remains the same. So let's save and let's scroll up and see what we have. Cool, this is beautiful. Isn't this lovely? This is lovely, right? This is cool. So we have what we have. We have our selected category, we have our flash sales, and this is rendering beautifully, isn't it? So if we change this, you see that it's only the selected category that changed, and our flash sales remains the same, and this is beautiful. So without wasting time, let's render one more section. So you can have as much as possible, just giving you an idea so that we can move to another screen. So quickly, the next one I'm going to render now is, what do we call this? Let's call it featured product. So let's just call it featured product, and then what I'll do here, okay, let me just copy this. Okay, let's go to our, let's come up here, and I think it will be more faster because we just need to replicate this. And so we're going to call this featured product, featured product. So we're going to have featured product, and then it remains the same. Now we need to pass it in here. So let's go to our middleware, create the props, copy this, and then call it featured props, and then let's set featured product, and it will take the product params. Then we're going to come to our trending and copy it. Let's copy trending. So it's got a featured product, and then we're going to use featured props, set featured product, and then this will be, okay, oh, we didn't change that. So let's make this product part. It's going to be product, and this will be featured product. Response, this will remain the same, and then we're going to take the product path, and every other thing remains the same except for we need to change this to trending product, to featured product, and every other thing remains the same. It becomes faster now, isn't it? That's the idea. So we need to comment out. Let's comment out the console here so it will stop populating. So product, so we'll go to the back end and then just replicate as well, and this is faster, isn't it? So we'll come here to our product controller. Let's go to our product controller. So we'll copy this, paste it here, and then we're going to call this get featured product, and we're going to get it from product. I think every other thing remains the same. So what we're just going to do here, so let's just say get all the featured products. So that's it, where feature product is equal to true, so get them. So at this point you get it from top to bottom. So the other one, you got it from bottom to top, or latest. Now this one is going to get it from the oldest. So that's just the idea. And we'll leave every other thing remains the same. We don't need to change anything here. So it's cool, right? So let's save this, and let's comment out the first console here. Let's comment this one out too. So yeah, so we'll come here to our route, and then we'll get featured product in our route. So I think we only change the featured, and then we're going to get featured products. That's it. Yeah, no error. And that's all we have to do. It's pretty faster now, isn't it? So we'll go back to our home screen. So from our home screen, we will get from our home screen here, we're going to get the featured product. We're going to call the featured product, fetch featured product. We're going to fetch featured product and make it equal to fetch featured product. Set featured product, fetch featured product. So let's copy trending product. We'll just copy everything from trending product here. So we want to make it horizontally scrollable, and to do that, let's copy from here. Let's copy from our selected categories. So we'll copy everything from there and dump it here. We'll copy everything from there and dump it here, and we'll make some changes to it as usual. So from here, we'll give it a background. As a future product. Then we can use the see all. We can give it a background color, but okay, let's just leave it for now. We can come back to it later. Margin top, every other thing is fine. And then we'll come here, instead of using selected product, we'll just copy the trending product instead, and use the trending product instead of the selected product. So we'll copy it and drop it here. And then we want to create the width. So we want to render different card. We want the card to be displayed differently. So we'll come here to our trending product and copy this trending width rather, and let's make it a featured product width. Featured product width. So to be of dimension screen, so let's render 3. We want to render 3 and give it padding of 10. So let's come back here and call it, instead of using trending, we use featured. So we're going to call featured product. We're calling featured product here. And here let's use a background image. Let's see what background image 2 looks like if we're cool with it. If we're not cool, we change it. So we have the item. Inside the item, we'll render the item name, the images, and then let's render let's use the price here now. So we'll have the price, and the price will be equal to item the price, and then we'll have the old price. So if you remember from our card, there's a section where we ask it to render another text field if we are using the price. So we'll get to that very shortly. Let me just bring this down. Let me bring the key down. Yes. So if we go to our product card, so we talked about this earlier on. So if you come here, the text field we've been using earlier on is this. Where is it? This is the text field we've been using. So before now that we are adding price, so the price is not equal to undefined. If the price is not equal to undefined, use this text field. So is this text field now that we want to use, I want to render. So you'll see it shortly. So we'll come here now. After the items section, we'll go to the props. I think the props will remain the same, except for the fact that we changed the background image we want to render there. So apart from that, the props remains the same. So from here, so let's go to the product props rather. So let's go to the style props. So for the style props, we'll come here and do resize mode. We still want it to be contained, and the width here now we're going to use the featured product width. So we're going to use the featured product width. Then the height. We want to change the height to, let's say 155, and the margin horizontal, we would use the margin horizontal here. So margin horizontal will be, let's make it 3, and I think that's all. So let's save and see what we've got. Beautiful. This is beautiful, isn't it? Wonderful and beautiful. Are you loving this? So you can see we have our featured product, and the featured product, you can see it's showing all the featured products. All the featured product had been displayed here, and this is beautiful. So you can see increase the size, the image size, the size of this of the card, if you like, if you wish, it's up to you. So if you press this, it will take you. So the next thing we need to do now is to design the product details. So this is for now. We are doing fine. This is where we'll leave it. You can add up to it. You can do other stuffs later depending on how you want it. So you can see where the price here now. For the price, you can see the price. For the price, we have the current price and the old price, and we have a stroke through. So you get that from the product card. It's coming from the product card, and this is beautiful. Let me just zoom in so we can see everything so far. So we've been able to beautifully render the home screen, and everything is coming from the back end. We are doing a full stack here, and you can see this is beautiful, isn't it? Please subscribe, comment, like, and share this.
So the next thing now is the product screen, so that when a user press any of the product, it will redirect to the product details screen, so we can get the details of the product, and then so that the user can check out can add the product to the cart. So we'll go here, for example, if from our featured product, for example, as an example, so on press, we have an on press event here that is when the user press any of the product, it will redirect to the product details page, and then it will pass the item, the details about the item. That's what we're passing here. So for example, I'll go to my featured product and then press a product, and cool, you see it has redirected to the product details page. And then let's start working with that. First, the header. We don't want the header. We want to display our own header. So we'll go to, that's our root navigator. Product details is from root navigator. So we'll come to our root navigator here, and come down here. So inside the product details, we will say header. So here we're going to call it options. Yes, there's option, and option double curly braces, and then we'll say header shown. There's header shown there. Header shown will be false. So if we refresh now, it should go off. Cool, this is beautiful. So we're going to display our own header, and we already passed the parameters, the props to our product details. So we'll bring in the product details screen. That will be from our screen. Yes, this is product details. Okay, let's close some of these things because we might not really need them anymore. So if we need any of it, we'll come back to it later. So inside our product details screen now, we'll receive the parameters that was passed from the home screen. And to do that, we are going to do const equal to root.params, and inside the params there's what we call item. You can see the item is already there because we passed it, so item is already in the params. So, and we can destructure everything in there. You can see it's bringing them up. It has a name, it has images, price, old price. So we have in stock, we have description. So for now, that's all we need for now. So let's save this. Let's save this item list in. Okay, another thing you can do, you can just do the console.log so that you can see the item was passed. So let's console.log name. If I save that, you can see it's showing it from the terminal. So that means it passed it. Cool. Or if we come here, we can also come here. I'll comment this out. We can also come to our product details and let's pass the name, so that you see the name of the product that was passed. Cool, you can see this is beautiful, it passed it. So if I go back, so cut that out. So if it's let's say the ID, to pass the ID. Cool, this is beautiful. That means it's working very well. So we'll just leave the name for now. We'll come back and make adjustments accordingly later. So we want to save all these parameters, these props. We want to save it. So you can just come here and say const. So product. So product params. Product params will be equal to row.param dot item. So we can just save everything in here, and we're going to give it a type. Type is product. I think we have product params, yes. So we'll give it the product params type. So let's start by working with the UI. I'll come to my home screen here. I'll come to my home screen. Let's copy the header. We'll need the header as well. So I'll bring them into my product details. Then let's copy it here and drop it here so I won't waste time. So for our header component, we need to import it. So let's import it. Yes, cool, everything is fine. So it should change. Cool, correct. So inside our header component now, we want to do the go back in our product item. So to do the go back now, we're going to pass the go back, and then we're going to pass a function into that. So we'll come here and say const go back. So go back, we're going to say on navigation.go back. So we'll come here and make go back to go back. That's it, and we should have cool. You can see this is beautiful. You can see the difference. So we'll come into our scroll view. Let's have our scroll view. So we'll go to our home screen again and copy some of the things we've written there so that we'll not waste time. So we'll come here. Yes, we'll copy this. Let's copy this view. Put here. Then we'll copy this as well. Drop it inside here. So we're good. So we'll come here to this first one, the first view. We're going to have flex direction, then space between. Then let's give it align items. Align items. Align item of center, and then let's give it padding. Padding 3. Then we'll come here. For this style, we want to give it. Let's give it a background color C60 C30. We want to give it width of 40, height of 40. Then border radius. Do we have border radius in here? No. So let's give it a border radius of 20. Let's bring this down. So justify content. Justify content will be center. Center align item, center flex direction row. So we don't need border color as well. So inside here, we'll render text. I'm going to give the text as a style. So I'll give it color of white. I'll give it text align of center. Font weight will be, let's make it 600. then font size of 12, and then this will be, let's say 40% off. So we can close this view and come out here. Let's copy this again. Let's give this a background color. Justify content center, flex direction is row, align item center, border radius is 20. So we'll come to this place. Instead of text, we're going to use ant design 20. So we'll come to this place. Instead of text, we're going to use ant design. So we need to import ant design. We're just going to have style. Let's give it style padding left. Padding left will be 0. And padding top will be 2. Let's make it 2. So let's quickly import ant design. Should have vector icons. There are vector icons here as well. Okay, our tab navigator, there's vector icon here. So let's copy this. So let's import vector icons. So we're going to give it a name of heart. To take size 20. Color will be, let's make it black. So let's see what we have there. Cool, this is beautiful, isn't it? So we'll come here and scroll view. The scroll view will be horizontal, so we'll render the product images, and then shows horizontal indicator will be equal to false. So quickly we are going to map through the images. So we'll map through images. We're going to map through images. And then we want to say, let's call it, and then the index. So we'll bring in the image from React Native. So to give it a key of index, I think we need to import image as well. Yeah, there's no image here. So let's import image. So to have key of index, let's give it star. So the style will have resize mode. It will be contained. We'll give it a height. Let's give it height 200. We'll give it width of, let's make it 350. Then let's have the source. So the source will be URI for each image. So image, let's call it image. Let's call this image. So it will display all the images. So if we save that, we're supposed to have the image. Cool, this is beautiful. They say the image is displaying, and then we should, this product has more than one image in it. So we should, if we scroll, we'll get it. See, this is beautiful. So you can see the variation. This is cool, isn't it? So that's the idea. So we have the image is displaying. So come out of this scroll view. Let's create another scroll view. So this scroll view, now we're going to give it view. Let's display the information about the product. So this will have a background color of white. It will have border width. Border width will be 7. It will have border color of white. Then we have a margin top of 5. So in here we're going to display text. So don't waste time. Let me copy the text we have here. So we have the text here. The text we're going to be using. So we're going to call text color will be black. Then font weight, let's make this 500. Then font size, let's make it 15 this time. And here we're going to display the name. Cool, you can see it's displaying what the name. So we'll come here, I think. Okay, let's come here. Let's close this. Let's close this as well. And bring it in. And inside here, let's render another scroll view. So in this scroll view, let's copy the styles here. Copy. So in here, we just want. So we'll now bring our view here. Take the view here. Now this will take this entire view. So we'll take this entire view and bring it inside here. I will take this also. So we'll take the scroll view. Take the scroll view, put it here. Then take the scroll view. Yes. I think cool. This is the way we want it to look. So it's better this way. So if I come now, so we can open this so you can see. So cool. So we're good to go. and then we'll come here. So after rendering the name, we want to copy this. Here we're going to render the price. So price, and here if it's in stock, all right, it's in stock. If it's in stock, if it's in stock is true, then we're going to write in stock, else out of stock. And this, let's give this margin top, let's give a margin top of 10. Then let's make this color green. Okay, let's see what we have. Cool. So if it's in stock, so let's give this a margin top, let's make it 6. So that's it. Let me bring this down. Well, so I'm going to make this a self-closing. We'll use this text to draw a line. So we're going to give border height, border color. Let's give it border color D0, 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 and border width. Border width will be 1. Cool. So I can come here and render another view. This view will have style. Style, let's give a margin top. Let's make it 30. Margin horizontal. Margin horizontal, let's make it 6. So let's copy our text from here as well. Let's give it color of gray. Font weight will be 500. Size, let's remove the margin top. So let's call this product details. So the product details, and we're going to render another view. Let's give it background color. Let's give it background color of white. Border width. Let's have border width of 7. Okay, let's just copy this. And here we're going to say margin bottom. Margin bottom, let's make it 10. So let's copy our text again. Let's copy this text. And in here we're going to say let's give it a description. Let's give the description a header, heading, and then cool. Then after that, we need to display the description. So the description will come from here to come from our params. So we have So we'll give that margin vertical. So margin vertical will be a 2. Let's give it color black, and font weight. Cool. This is beautiful, isn't it? So we have a product description added as well. So after adding our product, we need to do the add to cart. So to do that, I'm going to copy this view again, so that we can do the add to cart functionality. So we also need to add pressable. So this pressable, we have a style. Okay, let's do on press first. So on press, so we need to perform what we call an add to cart. So for now, let's leave it, because we've not added the function, we've not written the function. So let's do the style first. I'm going to bring this down here. So as a background color, let's give it background color of green. Let's give it padding of 10. Border radius 20. Justify content, center, align items, center. Then we're going to have margin horizontal. So margin horizontal, let's make it 35. And then margin vertical will be 5. So that's it. So quickly we use state to declare add to cart event, add to cart, and set add to cart. So we'll come here, let's say const use state. Do we have use state? No, we don't. So let's come to React and bring use state. So we have use state, and the initial state will be what? False. So we're going to say add to cart and set added to cart. So let's say added to cart. So that's what we'll use down there. So we'll come here and say if added to cart is true, then it will render this, else it will render that. So if added to cart is true, we'll render a view. So if added to cart is true, we'll render a text. Let us see, to make it faster, let's copy this text. So the text will be of color. Let's make it yellow. And then we have font weight. Font weight will be bold. And then font size. Font size will be 20. And we're going to pass. Let's pass added to cart. Else. So if added to cart is true, that means the product has been added to cart successfully. Else, we will display add to cart. So we'll display add to cart. And here, let's make it white. That's it. If we save it, we're supposed to have that. Cool, this is beautiful. So you see, so on press, it will turn true. If the product is added to cart, it will turn true, and then it will say product added to cart. That's the idea. And then the cart item will change. So far I think we're good to go. So the next thing we want to do now is the cart item functionalities. We want to be able to add product to cart, remove from cart. So we want to do the cart management. We want to manage our cart state. So that's the next thing we'll do. I think for now we are good to go. We're okay with the product screen. And then if I go back, let's press back. It goes to home. So I'm going to choose another product. So if we choose another product, you can see this is beautiful. And then we can scroll. You see, and this is cool. So let's come here. This is clean. Scroll, you see. So the next thing we'll quickly do now is the cart screen. The add to cart functionality currently is not working because we've not done that, and we'll be using Redux Toolkit to do that, to manage our cart state. Without wasting time, let me just go to cart screen. I think we created cart screen earlier, so this is it. So inside my cart screen now, I will come here. So let me just go to product detail and copy some of the stuffs there. So we're going to need this. Let's bring it here. So we've not imported safe area view. We will also need scroll view. So this one, let's import. We'll import the component. Cool. So let's add the go back function too, which is this. Then we need to import platform. So we're good to go. Everything is fine now. So the next thing I'll do now is just let's go and work with our Redux Toolkit and make sure everything is working fine from there. So I'll come into the source folder and let's go into the source and add a folder. I'll call it Redux. Inside that, I'll create a file. Let's call it cart reducer.tsx. So let me check my app.json. I think we installed Redux Toolkit. So let's check and be sure. Yes, we have React Redux. We have Redux Persist. That's what we'll be using, and we have as Redux JS / Toolkit. So these are the 3 packages we'll be using right now. So we have them installed. So quickly, I'm going to import them. So I'm going to say import. So I think it's at Redux JS / Toolkit. Yes. So inside that, I'm going to get create slice, and then payload action. So I'll come here and say export. Let's call it our cart slice, and then we're going to use the create slice function method. And inside that, we want to have the name. The name will be cart. Inside the cart, we'll take our initial state. Our initial state will be an array of carts, and so it will be empty, but it's going to be an array of carts. We'll come outside the initial state, and then we're going to render the reducer. So the reducer will be an object. So inside the object, we are going to perform some of the functions, and then we'll have add to cart function. So, and before we do that, let's quickly create the TypeScript to manage our state, the state, and the actions. So to do that, we'll come to our types here, and let's create a file. Let's call it cart types. We can call it cart params.tsx. So inside here, we're going to let's have the interface. So let's have interface. Let's call it product. Let's call it product params. So we're going to call this product param. It will take an ID. The ID will be string. It will have a name. Our product has name, and the name will be optional. and it has category. It has images. The image will be it's an array. Yes, we use array of string. Then it has category. We need the category. The category is also string. We will price is number. We have quantity. We're going to use quantity. Quantity is also number. Then in stock, which is boolean. And then here we're going to be using the length. So we're going to say export interface. Oh, sorry. So we're going to call this cart item. Let's say cart item params. Let's call it cart item params, and it will have cart, and the cart, it will be equal to the product params. That will be an array of product params. Product params is an array of product params. Then we also want to do our cart state. So we're going to have interface cart state params export cart state params, and it will be of cart as an object, and then it will have our cart, which is equal to the product params, the array of product params, and then we're going to bring in the length. So the length will be of number. That's it. So I'll save this, and inside our reducer, so the cart, it will take a state, and remember the initial state of every cart is usually 0. So that's why we have an array of what? An empty cart. So we are going to take the state. We're going to take the state, and the state now is going to be equal to the cart state cart item params. So it's got to, so it has imported cart item params. Then we are going to perform an action. The action will be of payload action, and the payload action will be equal to product params. Yes, no, not product params from home. It will be product params from. Okay, let's reduce this so we can see the screen. It will be product params from our cart. Yes, so it's equal to this product params. So we can perform our. So that's it. So we come here and say const. So item, let's say item present. Item present is equal to the state dot cart dot find. So we want to check if the item is already present in the cart. So, and we're going to give it cart dot found. So we're going to find the item. If the item is already in the cart, so we're going to say item dot id. You can see it's bringing it. So if it's equal to the action, what the user is trying to pass into the cart, so dot payload dot id. So we're going to come here. If this is not true, that means the item is not present, so it will add the item into the cart. So if item present is false, that means the item does not exist yet in the cart. So what we're going to do is we're going to update our state and push. So we'll push the item, we add the item into the cart, and to do that we're going to use the spread operation, so that it will add the new item into the cart and also add all the existing item we have in cart. So it's going to take the existing item in the cart and add and push this new item to it. So it's like it's adding it up. So we're going to say action dot payload. So, and then we're going to make the quantity equal to 1. So when the cart is added, we want to make the quantity equal to 1. So briefly, let me just explain. So this is what is happening. So before we add any item into the cart, we want to check if the item is present, if the item is already existing in the cart. So that's what this function is doing, the constant item present. So it will look for, it will map through this cart and check. So it will map through the cart and check whether
the items. It will check the items in the cart that are already in the cart. It will check the ID of the items that are already in the cart and compare it to the ID of the item the user is trying to pass currently. So if he finds any of this item that is equal to, if he finds any of this ID that is equal to the ID of the item the user wants to pass, that means the item is existing in the cart. So at that point, we don't want to add the item into the cart. So that's what's happening. So we now came here, so we store that here. So if this item present is true, that means there's an existing item in the cart whose ID is equal to the ID of the item the user wants to pass. So we don't want to allow that. But if it is false, that means the item does not exist in the cart. So what we are going to do now, we now use the push function to add that item to the cart. So this spread operator, what it's also doing is it will also carry along all the existing item in the cart. So it will add this new item to the existing item in the cart. And for the new item, we want the quantity to be equal to 1 when it is added. So that's the idea. So we're done with add to cart. So the next one we want to do is remove from cart. So let's say remove from cart. So remove from cart. Okay, let's just copy this so I won't waste time. Let's just copy this and bring it here and adjust it. So come here, it's going to take the cart state. Every of this is the same. So we're going to call this remove item. So we're going to say remove item. So here it will filter. We will use the filter function. So we say filter item. So when we filter the item, return all item except the one whose ID is equal to the ID the user selected. So that's what it's just saying. So it will return all the item except the item whose ID is equal to the ID the user is passing selected. That's action.payload.id. So that's what we're going to say here. And then we can remove this because we need to save. So all the item is saved in remove item except the one that its ID is equal to the action.payload.id. So we have saved it in remove item. So that remove item now becomes our new state. So we'll now say state. It will become the new state of our cart equal to remove item. And that's all you have to do here. Then we'll come to let's copy this again. We'll copy this. Let's copy this. So here we're going to call this increment. Let's call increase quantity. Increase quantity. So we'll come here and say result. Let's use result here. So we're going to say result state.cart.find item. So whose action is equal to action.payload. So here, if result is true, then we're now going to increase the quantity here. So we'll now say result.quantity. You see, and then we'll add. That's all. So it will look through the item, the cart state. So it will look through it and compare the ID of all the item that is already in the cart and compare it to the ID the user has selected, the ID of the item the user has selected. So it will compare it. If it finds a match, that means if it finds a match, it will store the match in the result, and then we'll now come here. If there's a match, then it should increase it. It will increase the quantity. That was why we then said result.quantity, then what plus. That's just the idea. And then we'll come here to reduce or decrease quantity. So it will be similar to this. So let's just copy this. We'll copy this and say decrease quantity. Increase quantity. So decrease quantity is also be the same thing. It will get it and get the result. So let's call it get result. And if get result is equal to true, so if get result is equal to 2, the get result will be dot quantity. So instead of plus, we subtract. That's it. Then there's one more that we need to do if you want to empty the cart. So to empty the cart, we're just going to say, let's call it empty cart. An empty cart will just get the state here, only the state. And then we're just going to make it. So we're just going to make the state.cart, and we'll make it equal, we'll return it toward the empty array. It's that simple. That's it. That's all we have to do here. So we'll come here, we need to export. It will be cart slice, yes, the cart slice we created, so actions. So export them, they add to cart, remove from cart, then increase quantity, decrease quantity, and then empty cart. We need to export them so we can use them. So we're going to say export default rather. Export default cart slice dot reducer. That's it. That's all we have to do for now. So we're good to go. So we'll go to our app.tsx here now and wrap our entire app with the Redux store provider. So that's what we need to do. And for us to do that, we need to create. So for us to do that, we need to create the store. So we need to create the store, and then so we'll come here. We'll come here, come outside of the old app, yes, and we'll create the store here. So let's create store.tsx. You see, we came out of the entire app. You see, cool. So inside our store, we'll import configure store from @Redux Toolkit. From @Redux JS Toolkit, yes. So write configure store. Good, it's bringing it up. So we will also import some packages from our Redux Persist. What we use Persist for is to help us keep the state of the cart even when we log out of our application. So if you don't use Persist, if you log out of the application and come back, you discover that everything you have done there, your cart becomes 0 automatically. So we want to use the Redux Persist to help us persist the state of the cart. So even if you log out and log back and log in again, you will still find the last state of your cart, and the last state of your cart will still be there. So that's what we're using Redux. That's what we use Redux Persist for. So I'll import. Let's say from Redux Persist. So I will import Persist store from Redux Persist. I will install Persist Reducer. We need to install async storage. We need async storage too. Let's check. I doubt if we installed it earlier. So let me check my package.json. Did we install async storage? No, we didn't. So quickly, I'm going to install async storage. So, and also make sure you are in the right location. You are using the right folder. So I'm inside my folder, React Native E-Commerce App. That's where we want to install it, inside the package.json. So I'll come here and say npm install. So, and it's at React Native async. So async storage / async storage. So that's what you want to do. You want to install @React Native async storage / async storage, and we need to make sure that the spellings are correct. So cool, it has been installed. You can see it here. We have async storage installed. So we can go back to I'll close this and go back to our store. So inside our store now, we'll let's import storage. Let's call it storage. We're going to call it storage. So storage from at React Native, storage is in storage. That's what we want to install. Then we'll come here and say const persist. So we'll call it config. So it will take the key. The key will be root. And then we'll pass in our storage and then the version. So we're going to make it version 1. Then let's say const persist. Let's say persisted reducer.
So we'll bring in our persist reducer, and then it's going to take persist config, and then we'll bring in our cart reducer. So we want it to persist that. So I say export constant store. So we're going to use config store here, and then we'll pass our reducer. Our reducer will be an object. So now we will now pass the persisted reducer. So we'll pass the persisted reducer into it. You know, the persisted reducer already have our cart reducer, so that's the idea. After the reducer, we'll come and do the middleware. So the middleware will be, so there's what called get default middleware, and then we're going to get that from, I say get default middleware, and then we're going to have serializable check. Yes. So the serializable check, we want to ignore actions, and then we're going to call in some actions. It will import them. So we have flush from redux persist rather. Then we'll have rehydrate. Also from redux persist, we have pause, we have persist, we have purge, we have a register. Yes, we'll have register too. So all will be coming from ignore actions, and then we'll give it a comma. Okay, it's ignored actions. Yes, ignored actions. It's working now. So another thing we need to do is we need to export this. So we're now going to say export persistor. Let's call it persistor, const persistor. So we'll now make it persistor. Then we'll pass our store into it. Cool. Then we'll come here and say export. So we'll come here and say export type root. Let's call it root state. And then we're going to say return. We're going to use the return type, and then it will be type of. So it will be store.getState. So I think that's all. So we'll now come into our app.tsx. Inside our app.tsx now we wrap our app. We wrap our app inside the Redux provider. We need to get the provider from React Redux. So we'll say provider should bring a yes from React Redux. So the provider, inside the provider, we will just call the store and pass our store into it. So store, we'll pass our store from store, yes. So we'll bring our entire app and put it inside the provider. That's fine. That's all we need to do right now. So inside these two, we need to now pass our persist. Yes, we need to pass our persist gate. Yes. Yeah, it's a persist state. So we can now pass our persistor. The persistor, yes, the persistor we wrote. So it will now be equal to what the persistor. Should import the persistor, yes, from our store. So you can see it has been imported. And this will be persist gate is from integration React persist integration React. So we will now pass our entire app inside what the persist gate. And that's all we need to do. So we save it, and everything should work fine. So you can see, so we need to reload our app. You can see everything is working fine. I've just reloaded the app and everything is working fine now. We can come into our product details now. So we can come into our product details now and perform the add to cart function. So we say const, let's say add item to cart. So this is going to be equal to the product params we declared here. So I can just copy that and bring it here. So product params, and then we'll pass, we need to pass the product, yes, we'll pass the product params. And we're going to say, so the first thing we want to do, we want to check if the quantity of the item is not less than 1. If it's less than 1, that means the item
is out of stock. So that's the first thing we'll check before we add the item to cart. So we'll take our product params. So we'll take our product params and get the quantity. So the quantity, if the quantity is less than 1, that means the item is out of stock. And to do that, we are quickly going to be using a notification. We're going to write a notification to always send a notification to the user, like a message, a pop-up notification. So we're going to quickly add that file into our component folder. So we're going to call it notification. So let's say notification.tsx. So inside our notification now, we're going to write, let's use this shortcode, yeah. We'll call it interface. Let's call it display. Let's call it display message. And the display message will pass in the message we want to send to the user. We are going to make it optional. So we'll come in here and make it equal to display message. Bring the message. So inside our return now, we're going to write, let's style it up. So we'll give it a background color. So give the background color of green. And then let's make top 8, padding 15, then position absolute. Then let's give it the index 999 to make it appear above every other element in there. Then let's width. So we'll make it width of 100%. So let's bring this down. So we can give it margin top of 15. Margin top 15. So let me bring this down too. So that's it. So we'll come into our text here and we want to display the message. So I want to display the message here. Let's type that up to. I want to give it a style. So I want to give it a style. Let's give it a font size of 13. Let's give it font weight of bold. I want to give it a color of white. I want to give it text align center. And then we want to make the font style. So the font style will be normal. So that's it. So we'll display the message. The message we want to send will be displayed there. So that's it. That's all we need to do here. So we can save this now and come to our product details here. So inside our product details, we'll come here and we're going to say const. So let's create a use state for that. So we're going to say const, let's say display message and set display. So we're going to pass it into our use state, and the initial state will be false. So we're going to be using boolean, and the initial state will be false. So the type is boolean. Then another thing we want to do is to bring up the notification. So we're going to say, let's call it notify and set notify. And then it will be use state. And the initial state will be string, an empty string. So we can come here and say, so if the cart is empty, if the quantity is less than 1, so we want to send a message to the user that this product is out of stock. So we'll just come and take our set notification, and we set notify. So we'll set notify into, and it will be equal to this product is out of stock. So that's the message we want to send if it's less than 1, and then we will now we will now make our display message so that it can display it. We'll turn our display message to true. You'll see how we use that very shortly. We'll turn it to true, and then we want it to go off after 3 seconds. So we'll use set timeout. So use set timeout to achieve that. So what we're going to do is we're going to set display back to false, and it will be after 3 seconds. So we'll come here and write 3000, means after 3 seconds. So we save that. So else, so if it's not less than 1, we want to check another thing too. So we'll put an else function. The next thing we want to check is we want to know if the product already exists in the cart. So if it's existing already in the cart, we don't want to add it again. That's how I want this. That's how I want to pattern it. So it's up to you. If you want to add it again as an increase in quantity, it's up to you. But for this project, we don't want to add the same product twice. So if the product, so we'll have to check if the product already exists, it will send a message back to the user and tell the user the product already exists in the cart. So that's what we want to write now. And it's else. So we'll come here and say, so we have to find, we use the find method. So we're going to say find item, and then we'll go through our cart. So before we do that, we need to import the cart using through our use selector. So we want to bring in the cart so that we can get the state of the cart. So we'll use the use selector to achieve that. So let me just import selector. Our use selector will come from our React Redux. So let me just come here and import from React Redux. So yeah, so we want to bring our use selector, and then we'll also be using use dispatch. So let's bring the two all at once so that I won't have to go back to that again. So we'll use the use selector now to access the state of our cart so that we can know the state of the cart. So to do that, we're going to say const cart equal to, so we'll say use selector, and then from the use selector we're going to get the state. We'll get the state, and the state is equal to the cart item params. So we're going to get the state. We want to get the state of a cart, and it will be state.cart.cart. I think we imported, yeah. So this is where the problem is coming from. Let me just take this back. We were supposed to use not cart item, is cart state. So we had what we call the cart state params. Yes, that's what we're supposed to use, because that's what is managing. That's what is managing. That's the type script for the state of the cart. So we're going to come here and say state.cart.cart. You can see. And quickly, I'm going to show you that from our Redux. Where's our Redux? Our cart reducer. So if you check the cart reducer here, we have the cart. So it's talking about the state, the initial state, the state of a cart. So we have the cart, and inside our store here we have cart. You can see. So that's what we're talking about. You can see here. So it's talking about those carts. That's what's happening. So from there we can get the state of our cart, and the initial state is what? Empty. So we'll come here and say, so we're going to say cart.find. So we're going to use find method, and then we're going to pass in the product or item depending on what you want to use. So we're going to say look for the product where the ID, whose ID is equal to the ID of the item the user selected. So that's what we are saying. So it will look through and find the product where the product ID is equal to the ID that the user just selected. So if it exists, if it's able to find, that means the product already exists in the cart. So we're going to say if find item is true. If find item is true, then the product is existing already in the cart. So we want to bring our notification here. So we'll bring the notification and say set notification, this product already exists. Well, let's say this product already added to cart. Let's say product already added to cart. Then we'll set every other thing remains the same. So we'll set the display message to true so that it can pop up, and then it will go back to false after 3 seconds. Then the next thing we want to do, if it doesn't exist, So else, we'll come to else here. So if it doesn't exist, then we can add the product to cart. So if it does not exist, then we can undo product added successfully to cart. And to do that, we need to use our use dispatch to achieve that. So we'll come back here. Say const. So let's call it dispatch equal to use dispatch. Const dispatch equal to use dispatch. So come here. The first thing we want to do is we set added to cart. Set added to cart will be true, and then we'll call the dispatch. Get our add to cart that we wrote in our cart reducer. Where is it? Our cart reducer. Let me bring it up here. So inside our cart reducer, you see we have add to cart. So that's what we want to use. So we'll bring it into this place. So let's import it. You can see add to cart from Redux cart reducer. So that's what we're going to bring in, and then we'll pass the product params. We'll pass into it. So we'll pass the product params into it, and that's it. So it will pass all the products. It will add that item into the cart. Then we want to bring our message. So we'll bring this message again, and so inside this it will become product added successfully. So we can come here now and bring in that component, that notification component. So we'll bring it here, and we want to give it a criteria. So the criteria is if display message is equal to true. If it's true, then it will pop up. So we'll bring in the notification from component notification, and then so we'll pass our message into it, and our message will be equal to notify. That's it. We're good to go. So we can save this now, and then let's try to add a product and see what would happen if it works fine. So I'll come here. So let's add this. Another thing we need to do, we need to pass that function. We need to pass it into our add to cart. We've not done that. So we'll come down here. So it will be here. So let's bring it before our style. So we'll say onPress. So that onPress will run the function, and the function will be is add item to cart, yes, and we'll pass our product params into it. That's it. And we'll save. So now let's try to add this item to cart. If everything works fine, we should see the pop-up notification, and the item will be added to cart. And if added to cart is true, it will change this add to cart to added to cart. It becomes true. So let's try it. Cool, beautiful, product added successfully. And you can see the notification has turned off after 3 seconds, and you can see we have added to cart. The product is added to cart, and you see it has changed because it's now true. So if we try to add it again, what do we get? Product already added to cart. You see, it's not accepting it anymore. So the next thing we want to do now is we want this to show at from our icon. So we'll quickly go and move up to where we have the icon. Okay, we have it inside our header component. So we'll come into our header component here. So there was cart length when we were creating our header component. So that's what we'll just bring in here, and we'll make it equal to cart.length. So cart.length, and then if we saved it, everything will work fine. We should have our cart equal to 1. So cool, this is beautiful. And then if we try to add it again, it will tell you product added already to cart. Product already added to cart, and see it did not increase. So let's add another product to cart and see what will happen. Let's add this phone. So if we add it to cart, product added successfully. It should be 2 now. Good, 2. So everything is working out fine. So we are doing fine. So another thing we want to do now, we want to also make sure that this cart length is showing in our home screen. So let's quickly go to our home screen and then bring it up. To do that, let's just we'll copy the cart, the use selector. Let's copy it, take it to the home screen. So let's remove these ones. we may not be using them anytime soon. So let's bring our use selector into our home screen as well. So if we come here, let's have it here. So we need to import. Okay, let me just copy them from here so that I won't waste time. So we'll import this. Okay, we import the. So we'll bring the two in here. Save, and if we let's go back to our home screen. So into our home screen now, we want to go to the header component here, and call the cart length. The cart length will be equal to cart.length. Save it. Cool, this is beautiful. So we have it also in our home screen, and we want to add another dynamics. We want the cart length to also show at our cart icon in our bottom tab. So to quickly do that, we'll go to our tab navigator. So inside our tab navigator, we also bring the cart length and the selector. We'll bring everything inside. So let me just copy this, bring it into our tab navigator here. Then we'll bring these two in there too. So we'll come to the home here. Inside home here, that's where we're going to write it. So we'll come here. Let's pass a fragment, and then bring we'll bring this in. Then we're going to write if cart.length is greater than 0, then do this, then display. So we're going to copy it. Let's copy it from, where did we write it? We'll have it, okay, in our component. So let's go to header component. Let's bring it here. So we will need this. Let's copy that. Bring it here to our tab navigator. Bring this in here. Then in our component, we are going to also, yes, we'll need this view. So we'll just copy this view and bring it in here too. So here we're going to call it, it's not cart length now, we'll call it cart.length. Cart.length, and cool, it's fine. Else, so we'll have the else function too, and we'll just bring the same thing, copy the same thing, copy this whole thing here now, and bring it into this place as well. So we'll copy the undesign and replace the end typo. So if we save that, cool, you can see it's already showing up. So we need to style it up a little so that it can stay on the bottom, on the icon. So we'll come here, let's go to our style. So inside our style here, so we're going to use, let's give it top of 2. If we give it top of 2, okay, let's give it right of -70. Cool, and it is fine now, isn't it? Everything is beautifully displayed. So we can have it there as well. So this is cool, isn't it? So I think that's all about that. So we can close the other component and go back to, and I think we are done with the, for now, with the product details screen. Oh, there's another thing we need to write at the product details. We need to be able to move to our cart screen from our product details. So that's the next thing we should do now. So to do that, I will come here. Let me come down after. Yes, let's come here. So I'm going to say const, let's call it go to cart screen. Let's call it go to cart screen. And then let's quickly write a function here. Then we need to check if the cart length is not equal to 0, if it's okay, we start with if it's equal to 0. If it's equal to 0, that means the cart is empty, and we don't want to navigate the user to the cart screen if the cart is empty. So if it's empty, we are going to quickly take our message and send message to the user. So we'll say, so we'll set the message, set the notification to your cart is empty, please add product to continue. So let's say cart is empty, add product, so continue. So that's it. So if it's not empty, then we can now navigate the user to what we'll navigate the user to the cart screen. So we'll now say navigate. So you see it's not bringing the cart screen yet because the cart screen is actually inside the tab stack, but we don't want to use the tab stack. So we are going to quickly add the cart screen to our root navigator. I'll explain the reason to you later. So we'll come to our root navigator here and we'll add the cart screen to our root navigator. So let's just come here and say, let's call it cart. And then cart, we can add it from, okay, let's just copy this because I think we're going to be needing most of it. And let's dump it here. Let's drop it here, paste it. So, and for this now, we can make them all undefined because we are not going to be passing items or params from the product details to the cart screen. We're going to be getting the product details from our Redux store. So we're not going to be passing any of these. So we can make everything undefined. We're not passing any of it. And we're not passing category as well in here. So we can remove it. So I think that's it. So we'll come here and add it. We need to add. So I'll just copy this and then duplicate it. So we'll call it cart. And cart will be of cart screen. Cart screen. We have imported cart screen. And then it's throwing an error because we need to go and update that from our cart screen too. So we also go to our tab navigator. Let's add this cart before cart was undefined. So if we go back to our tab navigator now, we should make our cart. Let's change it. Yes. And we're using cart capital letter. So we need to change that too. Okay, I'll just change this whole thing. Paste this into it and make it capital. So come here, make this capital letter too. Make this capital. And you can see it's no longer throwing an error. So the error is gone. And then let's save it here too. So inside our product details now, we can come there. So we can come into our product details now and tell it to go to, okay, it should bring up the cart now. You can see it's bringing it up, and then we're not passing any parameter to that. So we just make it an empty. Cool, and there's no error. It's no longer throwing any error. So this is the reason why I did it this way, because the cart screen belongs to the bottom tab. So it's inside a tab stack. It's inside the tab stack. Where's our root navigator? It's inside the tab stack. So go to the screens. So it's part of our tab stack. So this is the idea. If you're navigating from the product details screen to the cart screen, if you navigate there and you want to go back from the cart screen, instead of it to take you back to the product details, it won't take you to the product details, it will take you to the home screen. Why? Because primarily, cart screen is primarily a member of the bottom tab, which is inside the tab stack. So immediately you entered into cart screen, it stops recognizing the root screen, that root navigator. So it will change, it will switch to the bottom tab navigator. So, and inside the bottom tab navigator, product details screen is not a member. So if you go back expecting to go back from cart screen to product details, it will not go there. It will go to home screen. So what you can do there to solve the problem is just add the cart as a root to the root navigator. So that's why we added it here. So come to our product details. So inside our product details, so we see navigate. So we need to add that to the icon here. So in our header component, we will have what we call go to cart screen, and then we are going to add our go to cart screen to it. So if I save it now, if we press on the cart icon now, it should move us to the cart screen. So I'll just press this, and boom, you can see we're in our cart screen. This is beautiful. And if I press go back, it should go back to product details and not home screen. You can see this is beautiful. I didn't add it to the root navigator, it would have gone to the home screen. So if we go to the home screen now, and let's go to our cart screen from here, you see it will go to home screen. See, that's the idea. So this is good. So we are going to continue from the cart screen now. So let's go to product details and this cart. So inside the cart screen too, you want to add the cart. So we want to add the cart length. So we'll say cart length, it'll be, okay, let's bring in the, let's see which is faster. So we need to bring the use selector, and then we need to bring the cart. Yeah, cart. We'll bring the cart here, and then this cart length will be equal to cart.length. So we can have it too. Good, everything is working fine. So we'll continue with our cart. We want to display the item and perform some functions like to increase quantity, to decrease quantity, to remove from cart. So that's what we're going to do now. So I'll have my view. Let's bring in view, and inside the view, let's give it style. So I'll give it a style. Let's give background color. And then we give it border color. So border color, let's make that white. Then let's render another view. So this view we have style. Let's give it flex direction. Flex direction will be row. Then after align items, we want to align items and make it center. Then give it padding. Padding of 10. Then inside here, we want to render the first thing will be the subtotal. So we're going to be using the text there. So the subtotal will give it a let's give it a style of font size. Let's give it font size 13. And then font weight, let's make it font weight of 400. Let's use 500. Let's use font size of 18 here. And subtotal. So let's copy this again. And in here we'll render the total amount of the total price of all the product in the cart. So that's what we'll render there. So we need to write that function. So make this, let's make it bold. So let's quickly use, we are going to be using the reduce method to write that. So come here and say const, let's call it total. So we need to map through our cart. So for each item, and we'll call from each of the item, we'll get the price. So it will be item.price, cool. So, and then we'll multiply it by the quantity. So we say item.quantity, and then we'll add the reduce method. So we're going to use current, and then the previous. So we'll take the current and the previous, and then we'll add them together, plus previous. And then the initials, we want to make the initial price or number to be 0. So that's the idea, and that's all we have to do here. So if we save it, cool, you can see this is beautiful. And then we can, let me add a little space here, and then also add the currency. So we're going to be using dollars. So this is it. Cool, this is beautiful. So we'll continue from there. So come outside of that view, and then use pressable. Do I have pressable? No, let's add pressable. There's no pressable there, so let's add pressable.
So we are going to, we've added pressable, so we can call it from here. Pressable. And inside the pressable, we're going to give it style. So let's quickly style that up. So let's give it a style of, so we're going to give it a background color. So the background color will be green. Then padding will be 10. Then border radius will be 5. Let's add justify content. I'll make it center. And then align items will be central as well. So let me bring it down. So we have margin. Let's add margin horizontal. So we want to give it the space. We'll give space a horizontal space margin. So we have margin top as well, and the margin top will also be 10. So inside our pressable, we want to render text. So let's just copy this and adjust it. Copy this. So inside the text is going to have font size of 20. Let's give font size 20, font width bold, and then give it color. So let's give it color of white. So we'll give it color white, and we're going to call this checkout. Let's call it checkout. Then we're going to pass the item and the cart.length rather. Cart.length. And then we're going to say items. So that's it, we're good to go there. And then we're going to perform an onPress function. So when this is pressed, it will go to the checkout screen. So, but for now, we haven't written the function, so let's comment it out. We'll come back to it. So if we do it now, cool, this is beautiful. So you can see checkout 2 items. So we'll continue from there. So after that, we'll come out of that pressable. And here we want to render a line. So we'll be using a self-closing text. So we'll give it style. Let's give it a style. Let's give it height. So we'll give it height. Let's make the height 1. Then border color. So we'll give it border color of #D0, D0, D0, D0. And then we'll give it a border width. So border width, let's make the border width 1, and then margin top. Let's give a margin top of 10. Cool. So if we display that, cool, this is beautiful, isn't it? So we'll come outside of this view and have our scroll view. Do we have scroll view? So we'll bring in our scroll view, and the scroll view will have style. Let's style it. So let's style it. We'll give it a style. Let's give it background color. Background color of, let's close this, yeah. So we'll give it background color, we give it flex. Let's make it flex 1. So outside this, show, we don't want the scroll indicator to show, so we're going to make it false. And that's it. We'll come in here, render view, and inside the view here, we want to give it a style. Let's give it a style. Margin horizontal 10. So we'll start displaying the cart information, the cart item here. So we want to say cart.map using the map function. And then for each item there, we also want to get each item and the index for each of the items. Then we'll use the render method. So we'll render it now. So we use this and then add our view. So we'll add view into this. So the view, will give it a style. We'll give it a style. And then inside the view, we want to give it a background color. Background color of white. Then we'll give it a margin vertical. Let's make it 3.
Then padding top of 10. Padding top 10. Border bottom color. So let's give it border bottom color. Border bottom color. And let's make it F0, F0, F0. And then we want to give it a border width. So border width will be, let's make border width 2. Then border left width will be 0. Border left width will be 0. We also want to make border right width. We want to make that 0. We don't want to apply the border to that. And then the border top width. Border top width. Yeah, border top width will also be 0. And another thing we want to add in here, we want to add the key. So we'll pass the index into it so that they can be unique. So inside our view, we will add pressable, and then the pressable will be, we will style that up to. So we'll give it a style. We'll give it a style of, let's say, flex direction. Flex direction will be row, and then we have justify content. Justify content will be space between, and let's give it margin vertical. So margin vertical will be 0 here. So this is where we're going to render the image. So bring it inside the view. Inside the view, we need to call the image tag, the image component from React Native. So I'll import that from React Native. So image from React Native, let's give it style. So the style will be of, okay, let me bring the style down. So let's give it width. Let's give it a width of 110, height of 110 as well. And then resize mode. So contain. So we want to give it, we want to add a source. And the source will be URI. And it will be item.images. I want to pass the first image, so we'll add 0, and that's it. So if we save it now, we should have the code. This is beautiful, isn't it? You can see that's what we've been doing since. This is beautiful. So that's done. The next thing we want to do is we want to render some of the information like the name and the price. So to do that, I'll come here. So I'll come outside the view here. Yes, I'll come outside of this view and render another view. So this view now will contain the text for the name and the price. So that's what we'll be using in this tutorial. We're only going to be using the name, the product name and the price. So let me just copy from the text, the last text we use here, and make adjustment to it. So I'll come here, and then this will be item.name. So that's it. And then we're going to make this the style. Let's give it width. Let's remove all this. So we're going to make it width. Let's make it 150, and then margin top. Let's make that 10. Then we want to give it number of lines, so we can restrict it to only 3 lines. So we'll copy this as well and paste it here, and we're going to call this price. So for the price, we'll give it a font weight. Okay, let's give it a margin top of 6. Let's give it font size. Let's give it font size of 28. Font weight. So we're going to give it font weight of, let's make it bold. And then in here, we don't need the number of lines. So we can remove it. Yeah. So if I save it, we're supposed to have it. Cool, this is beautiful. You can see what I'm talking about. So we're done with this. We're done with this section. So the next thing is come out of that pressable, bring in another pressable here. And I'm just going to copy the last pressable we used and adjust it accordingly. So I'll copy this, bring it here, and inside this pressable now we're going to use, so we want to start rendering the increase quantity, the remove increase quantity, and decrease quantity. That's what we want to render here. So inside here we're going to give it the style of, so we'll be using flex direction row, align items. That's what we're going to use here. So we're going to say align items, and it will be center. We're going to give it a, so we'll give it margin top, margin bottom. So margin top will be, let's give it margin top of 2, then margin bottom. So let's give it margin bottom of 2 as well, and then margin horizontal. Yes, we want it to have a margin horizontal. Let's make that 10. I want to give it gap, so let's give it gap of 10 as well. So inside this, we also want to render, we also want to use the onPress function. So we'll get back to that later. Oh no, we'll use the onPress function here. Let's use it. We'll come here and render another pressable, use another pressable here, and this is where we use the onPress function. So we are going to, let me just write it this way. So onPress, but we'll come back to that. Then let's add style. So this style, we're going to make it flex 1. So we're going to use this. We're going to use the delete. This will be for the delete or remove item. We want to remove item. So that's what we're going to use this for. So come down here and render text. So let me just copy this text, bring it here. So inside the text here, it's going to have font size of 18, and font weight, let's make the font weight bold. So make the font weight bold. Let's give it color. We're going to add color into it. So color will be, let's give it an orange color, and we're going to call this remove. So let's say remove. So we're going to remove item using that, and that's it. So after this, now we'll render. Let's render for the increase and then the decrease quantity. So we'll come out of this pressable, and then, okay, if I save this, we should have remove. Cool, that's it. So we want to render. So we're going to use a view here, and we'll add some style into it. So inside there, we're going to have margin vertical. So margin vertical will be 10, and then flex direction will be row, and align items. So align items will be center. Then padding vertical will be 5. So let's give it padding vertical 5, and border radius 5 as well. So border radius will be 5 as well, and that should be all for here. For now, that is it. So come here and get the item, the quantity of each item. So we're going to be using the quantity if it's greater than 1. If the quantity is greater than 1, then we're going to render this, else it will render this function, it will perform that function. So if it's greater than 1, it will perform this one. So that means greater than 1 is true. But if it is false, it will perform the second function. So let's write if it's true, if greater than 1 is true, then we're going to use our pressable, and as well I'm going to copy the pressable here. Where is it? Just let me copy this. So inside here we're going to have the press function that will write. So if it's greater than 1, we want to display an icon. So let me bring in my icon from, I think we had an icon here, so let me bring it from our vector icon. Yes, let's bring this in. So we'll come here, instead of the text, we're going to render an icon. So we're going to get it from undesign. So we're going to get it from undesign, and then it'll have a name, and the name will be minus. So if it's greater than 1, it's going to show the minus icon, and then we'll give it size. Let's give it size 24, and then give it color. Color will be white. So let's write white, and then we want to add another style into it. We need to add font weight. Let's make it font weight bold. So font weight bold. That's it. So that's if the quantity is greater than 1. Else, so we also need to style the pressable. We're going to give it a different styling from this. So the pressable, we're going to give it, let's give it background color, and the background color will be orange. So we'll give it, after the background color, we want to give it padding. So padding will be 7, and then we want to give it border top left radius of 6. Border top left radius, and make it 6. Then we also want to give it a border bottom left radius. Yes, we want to give it border bottom left radius. We'll make that 6 too. And that's it. We're good to go. So we'll just copy the same thing here. We'll just copy the same thing here and dump here. So paste it here, and inside here we want to give it, so here we want to give it, instead of minus, we are going to give it, let's say there's what we call delete. So we'll give it delete icon. So delete icon is also from undesign, and then we're going to give it, so we'll leave the color will be white. However, we'll change the we'll add, we'll say, let's say padding left, and let's make that equal to 0. So let's bring our undesign here. So padding left will be 0. So if we save that, cool, you can see this is beautiful. Let's remove this. For now, let's leave it this way. So you can see, because the quantity is not greater than 1, that's why it's showing what, the delete icon instead of what, the minus icon. So we'll get to that later. So that's the first one we want to render. So come out of this, come out of here, and then add another pressable. So I'll just copy this as well and make adjustment to it. So here we want to render the number of item, or the quantity of item. We want to display it in number. So we'll close it. So let's change the style. So the background color here will be white. We're going to be using orange here. The background color will be white. Then I want to give it padding horizontal. So padding horizontal will be, let's make it 18. And then padding vertical, let's add padding vertical. Padding vertical will be, let's make that 6. We want to render the text, and the text will be item.quantity. So we want to render the quantity of each item in here. And if I save it now, you see this is beautiful. It's showing the item.quantity. That's what we want to do there. So the next thing is we want to render the increment for increasing the quantity. So that's what we'll do now. So like I'll just copy this. Let's just copy this whole thing. And after this pressable, let me add it here. So inside here, we're still going to be returning the onPress function. Then okay, I think I should copy. Let's copy the one we use for decrease. Speaks more to it, so let's copy this. So we'll copy this, paste it here. So we'll have the background color orange, padding will be 7, yeah. So we'll just come here and change this. So we're going to use feather here. So let me go and add feather. So let's add feather icon. Yeah, feather icon. So instead of ant design, we'll use feather icon. So feather icon, and inside that feather icon we have the plus sign. We have the plus icon rather. So we have plus icon. We give it size 24, color white, and font width of bold. That's it. So if I paste it, everything should work fine. Oh, sorry, I'm doing it in the wrong place. So it shouldn't be here. It should be down here. Yes, it should be here. And then we have the plus icon and every other thing. So let's see. Cool, this is beautiful. So from here now we can increase the quantity and reduce the quantity. So you just see what will happen when I increase the quantity. I will increase the quantity to 2. Okay, we need to implement them. We've not run the functions, so we've not added it. We need to add it to the onPress. So to do that, let's go and write it. It's just similar to the same way we add to cart done in our product details screen. So it's similar. So quickly come. So also we need to bring our notification. So we'll say, so let's go to product details and bring everything up from there. So we need to bring display and notification. So we need to bring the two to, let's bring them here. So we need to import useState. Where's our React? Yes. So let's import useState here. So useState will come in here, and then we can bring our, so let's say display message. If it's true, then render the notification. So notification, yeah, notification from component, and the message will be equal to notify. Cool. So we want to have that. So, and then the next thing we'll do now is to run the function for, let's say, okay, let's do increase quantity first. To increase the quantity, so we'll say, let's call it const, let's call it increase Q. Increase Q means increase quantity in our own case. So we're going to run the function to increase the quantity, and then this will be equal to item, and then we're going to be using the product params. So it will be from product. So product params from our cart params. So, and then we'll use our dispatch as well. We'll use our dispatch. So dispatch, we need to bring, have we done that? Okay, we've not declared that. So let's just say const dispatch. Okay, we have it in our product details. So let's just copy it, and yeah, let's copy this. I thought I copied it earlier. I didn't. So bring it here and then use our dispatch. So use the dispatch, and remember we have increase quantity from our cart reducer. So you can see increase quantity, that's what we're bringing in, and then we're going to make it equal to the item. So we're passing the item into it, and that's all. So we'll come here. So we'll say if the quantity increased, then it will now display our message. So we display the notification message. So we'll now say item dot quantity. So if it's increased, that will be plus plus. If it increased, then send the message. So let's get the message from here. So we're going to get the message. So we're going to say, let's call it product quantity. So I say let's call it product quantity updated successfully. So we'll say product quantity updated successfully, and every other thing remains the same. So we're good to go. So the next thing we want to write is to decrease the quantity. So we're just going to copy this. So here now we're going to do decrease quantity. Let's call it decrease quantity. So decrease quantity, and then here we just need to bring the decrease quantity. So decrease, what did we call it? Decrease quantity from our cart reducer. So to import that, and here we'll use minus. So if it reduced, then send the same message, product quantity updated successfully. So every other thing remains the same there. So we can come here. The next thing we want to do is to delete. When an item is deleted from the cart, delete. So let's call it delete item. So to use the delete item, we're going to use the remove function from our reducer, from our cart reducer. So we call it remove from cart. Yes. So I need to be equal to item, and then here we want to say product removed successfully, and that's it. And every other thing remains the same. Okay, it's also supposed to reduce it. So we're going to say this. So the quantity will reduce. So I think that's all we need to do. So we'll now let's come here and implement all that. So the first one here, this onPress is for what? Let's get the onPress functions. Yeah, so this one is for remove. So we're going to pass the remove. No, it's supposed to be a function. So we're going to run it this way. And we had delete item. And we're going to pass the item into it. That's all. So if we come here, the next one is this. This one is to decrease the quantity, right? Yes, this is decrease. This is for decrease we use this to decrease quantity. So we say decrease queue, and then we'll pass the item into it. And then the next one is, okay, we still pass the same thing in here too. Decrease. No, if it's greater than 1, it will use decrease quantity. But if it is less than 1, or if it's not greater than 1, rather, it will use the removes, because if it's not greater than 1, we are displaying the delete icon. So we're going to use the delete item, and then we're going to put the item into it. So that's it. Then the last one is increase quantity. It's this. So we're going to say increase queue, and then we'll pass the item. So that's it. So let's save. So now if I press the plus icon, it should increase, and once it is greater than 1, that delete icon will change to the minus icon. So let's try that. Oh, we passed this function to the wrong place. Sorry, we passed this function to the wrong place. So let's remove this from here and then bring it here. It's supposed to be here. Then we actually don't need an onPress function here. So that's it. So we're supposed to bring it here. This is where we increase. This is the increase icon. So let's try that again. If we press the plus sign, it's supposed to be equal to 2. Cool, beautiful. And you can see it's working, and the icon has turned from delete to a minus. So we'll do for the second one, and you can see that the price is also updated. So if I change it now, you see it's $300. If I change it now, it's $360, and you can see it's also saying product quantity updated successfully. So if I reduce that product, and it's reducing it, we have 4. Let's reduce it. It's 3, and you can see it's reducing it. So let's use the delete icon. So the delete icon now. So if I press the delete icon now, it's supposed to remove this yellow smartwatch. So let's press it. 1, 2, 3, go. Cool. Product removed successfully. This is working well. And then let's use the remove icon. So, but before we do that, I need to implement another thing. So, because when our cart is equal to 0, when our cart is empty, we want to redirect the user back to the home screen, and then we'll display a message. So before I do that, let me just, because if I use the remove now, the cart will be empty. So let's implement that before we now remove the last one. So I'll come up here. Let's come here. Let's write it here. We can write it anywhere there. And we're going to use the use effect. So let me import use effect from React. So we're going to say use effect. So we're going to use effect. So we're going to check the cart.length. So if we check it, if it's equal to 0, this is what we'll do. So we'll bring our message. So we're going to say your cart, or let's say this cart is empty. Please add product to continue. So that's it. So, and every other thing remains the same, except for we'll now need to redirect the user back to the home screen. So we're going to use navigation.navigate, and so we'll come here, and the home screen is in the tab stack. So we can use the tab stack. We'll come to the tab stack. We use the tab stack, and then we say screen. Let's get the screen. Sorry. So we'll get the screen. Yeah. And this makes TypeScript very powerful. You can see this is cool. There's no error. This is powerful. So that's the thing. So we'll navigate, and everything is fine. So if I press the remove button now, so if I use the remove button now, and it will remove this, and it will display a message. Oh, we also want to add the dependency array in that, because we don't want it to keep looping. It can become buggy. It can turn to a bug and slow down our app. So we want to add the cart.length. So this use effect will always reload. The event will always be triggered every time the length of the cart is updated or changes. Every time it changes, it will trigger the action again. That's what the dependency array is talking about. So let's save it. So now if I press the remove icon now, the remove button, it's supposed to send a message that the cart is empty, and then it will redirect us to the home screen. So let's do that. Cool. You see this cart is empty. Please add product, and it has redirected to the home screen. This is beautiful, isn't it? This is working fine. So let's add those items again. And you can see everything is working fine. So let's add this. It's working well. Let's add another product. Let's add this. Let's add bags. Let's add this bag. Let's add one more. Let's check through our future product. I love this iron. So let's add it, and then we can go to our core. So you see we have 4 items in the cart, and then let's make this equal to 2. Let's make this equal to 3. So the next thing we want to do is we want to be able to we want to navigate from the cart screen to the checkout screen. So, and we're going to be using that checkout for items. So we comment out, what's it called, an onPress function there. So let's write the onPress function, then we can add it to it. So let's come here and say, let's say const checkout. Let's say items, checkout items. And in here, at this point, we want the user to be logged in, because we need the user information to process the checkout and retain some of the checkout details, the delivery details, and all that. So we want to make sure that the user is logged in. So we can say we've not declared that. So I'll just, for now, we'll come back to that. So I'll say cart. So if the cart, let's check if the cart is not empty. So if the cart.length is equal to 0, we don't want to redirect the user to the checkout page. So if it's equal to 0, we want to navigate the user back to the home screen. So let's just copy this. So else So else we'll navigate the user to the checkout screen. So we can come here, copy this and make adjustment to it. So we can say navigate, because we haven't written the delivery screen yet, so we will just comment it out for now. Then let's add it to proceed here. Yeah, here. So checkout items. So quickly let's go and let's get the checkout screen. So we'll come to our screen. Let's come to our screen here and add the checkout.tsx. So, in our case now that we don't have the user information, so we really want to do the user authentication. We need to get the user details so that we can process the user's items. So we'll also need to come here now and so we'll pass an if function here as well. So we're going to say if, let's say if user ID is equal to null, then it's going to navigation.navigate. So it will navigate to the registration and the login screen. Else, if the user is logged in, then it will go to the checkout screen. So we'll bring the checkout screen here. So we'll bring this one now and put it inside here. So quickly, let's go and write that. So the user ID to everything. So we can't use any of it right now. So we need to go and get that done first. So to get that done, we'll come to our screen, and inside our screen, let's add so inside our screen, let's add the user form there. So we're going to be using that same screen for both registration and then login. So we'll do it this way. We'll go to, and in here we're going to say, okay, let's use our tsrn. So inside the user form here, we're not going to be using this, obviously. And then we're not going to be using this. So we need to add it to our root navigator. So we'll come to our root navigator now and add this screen, the user form screen. We need to add it to our root navigator. So we'll come here. Let's call it a user form. Let's call it user form params. And then we'll add it in here. We will need the email. We need the email, and I think we need only the email and the password in this case. So it's up to you. You can do it the way you want. This is just tutorial. So email and password will do for this tutorial. Then we can have confirm. So another thing we need to add the screen name. The screen name will also be a string. So that's it for now. Then we'll come here. Let's copy this. And then we'll come here and do, so let's say user form params. And then this will be equal to the user form. So, and then we need to link it to the user form. So we'll come in here and we'll call, so this will be from our root stack screen props. Yes. And then from there we can bring in our code user form params. You can see. Then we have our navigation, and then we can also have our route. Then we'll go back to our navigator here, user form params. Why is it throwing an error? Oh, I called it use instead of user. That's why we're having an error there. So in here, we're going to add the R to it, and everything is fine. So we can also save this one here as well. Everything is working well. So we've added this. So let's go